Hi, it's Eva Pohler here, coming to you live and late in the Polar Bear Lounge. I'm so sorry about that, guys. I set an alarm and it did not go off. But today I am here to talk to you about how to decorate your bookshelf. Now, if you want to know how to make a shelf look gorgeous, you can definitely go on HGTV and you can go look at what Joanna Gaines has to say because she makes some beautiful shelves. But I'm not talking about just how to decorate a shelf for regular people. I'm talking about how to decorate a shelf for book lovers because we don't just have a few books that we can use as just accessories here and there. We have tons of books, and so we need to know how can we make our shelves look good. So over the years, I've come up with some tips that I really hope will help you. And the number one is that you can break up the sight line of your bookshelf by just every so often taking some books, flipping them horizontally, and then displaying a beautiful object on top, just to break up the monotony of books. And something may be important to you, something that has sentimental value, something that expresses who you are. And I'll have a link at the bottom of this video with some pictures to describe or to better show what I'm talking about here. So that's the first one, is just to take books, every so often, take a stack, turn horizontal, and then set a pretty object on top, maybe a picture frame. Okay, so then the second idea then is to use a favorite object as a bookend. So instead of turning, something horizontal, you can have your vertical books and then put something there to kind of to hold up, to keep them vertical, to keep them from leaning or falling over. And you can put a picture frame, a small plant, a vase, a bowl filled with some of your treasures. You can use that as a bookend. And that also varying the heights, of your bookcase. Now, I mean, if it's stuffed to the gills, of course, just having them all lined up, occasionally turned horizontal, that's probably all you're going to do. But if you have room to break up the sight lines and use objects to kind of vary the height, that's going to add more interest to your shelf than if everything is all at the same level. So if you do use something as a bookend, maybe taller than the books or much smaller than the book, somehow breaking up that sight line will be beneficial. Now, if you can bring in some greenery, and not a whole lot, you don't want to go crazy with this. In fact, if you have more than one plant, I would keep them at least a shelf apart. But if you do use greenery, you can bring a shelf to life. Now, it's perfectly okay. You don't want to mess up your books by using real plants that you're watering in danger of that water damaging your books. It's perfectly okay to use faux plants, but just make sure that you dust them regularly, because if there's a lot of dust on them, then it's going to totally undermine the idea of trying to bring life to the shelf. You need to keep them dusted. Now, I like to use those little faux succulents because they don't look like they collect a lot of dust. And some things like there are some plants that just have a natural texture that don't even show dust. So try to find something like that and just use maybe one as a bookend. And again, I'll have images, a link to images at the bottom of this video. And then a fourth thing that I like to do is, if you don't really have a whole lot of space on your shelf, it's totally filled with books, what you can do is select some books to remove from that shelf to use elsewhere. So I use books stacked under a lamp to give the lamp height. Or I have books on my coffee table. I have two different coffee tables. One have books that are on a pretty tray, and another one, the books are horizontally stacked, and then there's a platter shaped like a fish on top. And so you can also put books in a windowsill as long as they're kind of airy and light. And you can display your books in other places of your house, is what I'm trying to say, so that you can make more room on a shelf to break up the sight lines with beautiful objects or framed photos, vases, bowls, whatever. And then my very last tip to help you decorate your bookshelf for real book lovers is, if there's just no way you can break up the books, that there's just too many in your shelves, and There's no real way to kind of break them up with bookends and so forth. Another thing you can do is to just display objects in front of the stacks themselves, as long as those objects don't completely obscure the view of the books. And don't do this on, if you have a bookshelf case, don't do this on every single shelf, or try to like maybe put one object on a side of one and on the side of the other, because you don't want it to look overcrowded. So I have my Ollivanders, my wand from Ollivanders in its case in front of one, set of books, and it's low, but it still looks like it's on display. And I have an image here to give you another idea of someone who has used an antique camera just setting in front of the books. You could use a small framed photo. So this is another way to kind of help decorate the shelf, especially when you're limited on space because you're, a book lover and you have tons of books. So anyway, I hope these tips were helpful to you. I love my books. I love looking at my books. And, this is a way, and it's fine to accessorize with your books, but when you have a lot of them, you need to sometimes look for some different ways to make them pretty. So I looks like that I do have a few people here live with me today. Hi, I'm so happy to see you here. I'd love it if you'd give my video some love. If you're watching from YouTube, I'd love it if you subscribe to the channel, give me a like, comment below. Do you have a book collection, a library of your own? If so, how do you decorate it? And anyway, that's it for today. I'll see you later on in the lounge. Have a good one. Bye-bye.